In this video, I'm going to show you how to make Italian cream. I'm going to make a batch of vanilla Italian cream, and also at the end, I'll make a batch of chocolate Italian cream. Italian cream is like a pastry filling or a custard. We use it to fill zeppelis. You could also use it as a filling in a cream puff or an eclair. And it's also a component in the Easter pies like ricotta pies, rice pies, or wheat pies. To make this mixture, you need to have hot part component, which is milk and sugar. That's going to get put on the stove and heated up. And then there's also a thickener, which is milk, egg yolks, flour, and sugar. So I'm going to put the recipe on the screen, and you'll see that we have the recipe card separated from the cold components, which are the thickener, and the hot component, which is going to be placed on the stove. So I'll show you how to heat that up and cook it, and then right after that I'll show you how to make a batch of chocolate. I have my sugar and milk heating up on the stove. Now I'm going to show you how to mix the cold mixture. I just took my half teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to take my 1 egg yolk and put it in here. This is cake flour. You shouldn't use all-purpose flour. You should use cake flour for this because cake flour is starchier and it's a good thickener. And the sugar. All we have to do is stir this up, and this is going to turn into like almost like a cake batter. It's going to look just like a cake batter. So you just stir that up until it's as smooth as you can get it. And now we're just going to wait for our milk to heat up so that we can go to the cooking stage of this. So it looks like we're at a boil here. You should keep a close eye on milk when you're boiling it. If it comes to a rapid boil, sometimes it'll foam up. It'll be like a volcano. It'll overflow, and you don't want that to happen. This is boiling pretty good. What I usually do is take a ladle and take a little bit of this hot mixture and pour it into the thickening part just to temper it a little bit. So we take that out just a little bit, a couple spoons. It doesn't have to be a measured amount. And then we just stir that in, and that tempers it, thins it out a little bit. It makes it easier to put into our hot mixture. Now you can see our hot mixture is really boiling away there. It's starting to rise up. So we're going to stir this up and put it right in there. You don't need any special tools for this or anything, just a couple spoons is fine. If you have a wire whisk is also nice to use. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put it right in, and this is going to thicken up pretty quick. I'll just let that heat up a little bit. While I take a little scraper and get the rest of this out. I'll just stir that in. Now you can see that that's thickened, and this is just about ready, so I'm going to shut it off. If it looks a little soft, it's okay, because when it goes into the refrigerator, you're going to look at this cold, it's going to thicken up even more. And that's how the first batch is done. So I've taken it off the heat. I'm just scraping it into a storage bowl. And this will sometimes get kind of a skin on the top of it since it's a starchy mixture. And to prevent that from happening, all we do is take a little bit of sugar, just a little bit of granular sugar, sprinkle it on the top, and that'll help prevent a skin from forming at the top. And then all we have to do is take this, cover it with some plastic, and put this in the refrigerator. And that'll be ready to use in a couple hours, or as soon as it's cooled off. This will last in the refrigerator for many days also, so you can make this ahead of time if you like. Next, I'm going to show you how to make a batch of chocolate. So now I'm going to make a batch of Italian cream chocolate. It's going to be the exact same process as we did for the first vanilla batch, but we're going to need a chocolate to add to it. If we just add cocoa, it's not going to come out right. It's going to get lumpy and it's not going to mix in well. So I'm going to show you how to make a chocolate base. We'll put the simple recipe for that up on the screen. All it is consists of 2 tablespoons of melted butter. I just melted the butter in the microwave oven. And then we have 1 ounce of cocoa, which is 6 tablespoons. We just stir the cocoa into the butter. By heating the butter, adding the cocoa to it, it makes this mixture get nice and dark and smooth and chocolatey. So you'll see that as I stir this in, that butter is going to just combine together with that cocoa, and it's going to get nice and smooth. It's going to darken up. It's going to be very chocolatey. I'm going to add also just 1 tablespoon, I should say 1/2 tablespoon of oil, and that just thins it out a little bit. So there's my oil. We just stir that up, and we're going to set this aside. When we finish cooking the batch of Italian cream, this is going to get mixed in at the end, and it's going to turn nice and chocolatey. My second batch is boiling. I'm about to thicken it, pouring it in, getting it to thicken up. As soon as this thickens up, I'm going to add our chocolate base to it. There we go. Now I'm going to start pouring this chocolate right in. And you can see how that little bit of cocoa mixed with that butter just made this get nice and dark really quickly. I'll shut that off and we'll pour it out. So I'm just pouring this out of the kettle, pouring it in a storage bowl. I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the previous one. I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of sugar on top, which helps prevent a skin from forming. And then we'll let this get cold, and then it's ready to use. We could use it in our Italian cream pie. If we make an Italian cream pie, we could use it in zeppoli or any other kind of pastry that we want to put chocolate filling in. This is also a good cake filling. You could put this in the middle of an Italian cream cake. And that's all set.